Well, hello fishing friends, and if you're new here, welcome. On today's quick tip video, I'm going to go over using the fish finder. Now, if you didn't know, the fish finder can be found using the hard difficulty. So when you have normal, you put your glasses on, you can see the fish out there. On hard, you get a fish finder, and on expert, you don't get anything. So for this, we're going to use hard so that we can bring up the fish finder. All right. So to bring up the fish finder, all you do is you grab your pole, and your fish finder pops up. And I'm going to show you how to read the fish finder. Now this blue dot here, that's you. And this blue light or shadow or whatever that is where your pole is aiming. So as you can see, as I move my pole to the left and right, it goes that way with it. So that's going to be where you're going to want to aim and cast when you're going after a fish. So let's say we want to go after that green fish out there. We would aim and we would cast towards it. All right. Okay, so now let's figure out these lines here. Now each one of these lines, that line there, represents 50 feet. So this is 50 feet away from the player, not 50 feet depth. Okay, I've seen people thinking that this is the depth of the water, and it's actually distance away from the player, how far it is away from you. So this is 50 feet. These fish are around 100 feet. This is 150 feet, 200 feet, 250 feet, 300 feet, etc. So depending on which pole that you have, which rod that you're using, will determine how far you can cast. So I'm using my floating rod A on freshwater. I know, because I've figured it out, that that pole will cast 250 feet. And the way I determined that was I cast it out as far as I could, and I reeled it in watching my reel. Every rotation of your reel is 10 feet. So if I would rotate it 25 times, then it was 250 feet. If I was rotating it 20 times, it was 200 feet. So when you're trying to go after these fish out here, what you'll want to do is you'll want to know the distance of the pole that you're using. So one way you could do it is, like I said, cast out, reel it all the way in, and count it out, watching your reel as you count it. All right, let me cast out here, and I'm going to reel in and watch the reel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So there you go. So on the 26th one, it came flying up. So that was about 25 rotations, 250 feet. All right. So if we're going to go after this green fish, I'm going to cast it out as far as I can. And it's going to hit about right there. All right. So then what I would do is I would reel it in 5 times so that I bring in that extra 50 feet to get it closer to that 200 foot mark. All right. Now that we know how to cast and the distance, let's talk about the depth. Now to determine the depth of the fish, you look at the brightness of the fish. As you can see here, these red fish are all kinds of different brightness. You got this one that's fairly bright. You got that one that's very dim. And you have some of these other ones, like that one is kind of in between. Right there. It's not really bright, but it's not as dim as the one that's behind it. So the brighter they are, the closer to the top of the water. You have 3 depths. You have the top, you have the middle, and you have the bottom. So right now I have my bait sitting on the top. If I press my thumbstick down, my bait would be in the middle, and now it would be going after the middle fish. If I press it one more time down, it's on the bottom, then I'll be going after the bottom fish. All right. So I'm going to bring mine up to the top for now. So this tench here, I can tell it's a tench because it's the only fish on this location that likes the crawfish. Now let's talk about bait. The colors of the fish are determined by what bait you're using. So like if we go into the Fishopedia here, and we go to the tench, we could see that that is a depth in the middle. So we could tell he was in the middle because he wasn't very bright, but he wasn't as dim as some of the other fish. So he's in the middle, and for live bait, he likes the crawfish. Now he will be green on the crawfish, the worm, and the dough ball. And if you're using lures, he would be green on the soft bait. Now the other fish that are red means that they do not like the crawfish. And you can see none of these other fish like the crawfish. That's why they're red. Now, if they're yellow, let me flip it over here and bring some yellow. And I change my bait just by pressing my thumbstick to the right. These yellow ones, they will go after your bait, but not quite as fast as the green ones. The red ones don't like your bait. However, if you set that bait right in front of their face, they will eventually go after it. And like the Devil's Hole pupfish, it's red on every single lure, every single bait. So that's one of them that you have to figure out where it's at, cast out there, reel it in, and let it sit right in front of their face. And eventually they'll go after it, but it's not their favorite. All right, so let me go back over here and let's catch this tench. Now for this tench, since I know it's in the middle, I'm going to bring my line down to the middle by pressing my thumbstick down, have a crawfish on there. And I'm going to line up my line here because I want to cast in that direction. And let's see, about there. And now I'm going to cast out. And since I know it's 5 feet further in, I'm going to reel it in, watching my reel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. And it should turn red. Yep, as you can see, it turned red. Because we got it right on top of them. And we'll bring this guy in. So now, in the description, I will leave a list of all the different rods and the distance that they will cast, so you don't have to try to figure that out. But just so you know, your casting rod will be the farthest for freshwater. So if you have a casting rod A, it will actually cast. There we go. There's my tench. It will actually cast 300 feet from you. So that's the only rod on freshwater that will cast 300 feet away from you. However, there's no fish out there at 300 feet, so it doesn't really matter. So you could actually get away with casting rod B for quite a while. But I will leave it in my description on all the different rods and how far that they cast, so that'll help you out. So hopefully this helps you with the fish finder. If it did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up for this one. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button so you'll see more tips and more tutorials. You know, when the next DLC comes out, of course, I'll be posting some more rares and epics. So you want to watch for those. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.